So they let me out of hospital. And my life changed like you wouldn't believe in the last week. So for the foreseeable future, I will be walking with crutches or a wheelchair or a walker. It's kind of a lot to get used to. It's a huge amount to get used to. I can't carry anything. Stairs are terrible. Anyway. So the cancer found its way into my femur. And the reason I'm on crutches is because if I walk on the femur, there's a very good chance I can crack it. So although I don't have a plaster or anything on my leg, I cannot put any weight on it. So, I am a cripple. But in other news, Marion has finally been diagnosed correctly with what we've been dealing with for the past year. And it's on Wednesday today's Thursday, so yesterday we were allowed to see her for the first time after she was locked up in the loony bin. Fuck. They are here to deliver something. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I'm back. Deliveries are difficult because it's very difficult for me to walk up the stairs to go and open the door. But anyway, as I was saying, they finally have Marion figured out. They know what went wrong with her. They know how to fix her. And they are making progress like you wouldn't believe. We went and saw her on Wednesday, and it was unbelievable. The last time I saw her they transferred her from the hospital to where she is now, she was completely unable to walk. There was no chance on earth that her legs would move at all. I mean, she was basically propped up in a chair, and that was it. That was her spot for the day. And yesterday, for the first time in a very long time, she was walking upright. She was having a fluid conversation. Her eyes were sparkling. And she was radiant. She was radiant. Now this is all of this is a kind of life-changing event, and it's extremely difficult to get your head around it. And I've been struggling with it for a month. I can't get my head around what do you call this? The inevitability of the whole fucking thing. You know, there's the chemo will burn it out this round. That'll buy me a couple of years. I'm lucky. But the inevitability part is it's almost 150% guaranteed that it'll come back. And it'll come back multiple times. And every time it comes back, it's more ferocious than the last time. And with lung cancer, that's your lot in life. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, there is something you can do about it. But initially, you're on the roller coaster. And this ride is set. I mean, there's nothing on this ride that hasn't been well thought out and planned. So, they have taken the fine art of staged dying. So, the administration of poison radiation therapy is poisonous. Chemotherapy is poisonous. So the administration of this has been reduced to an absolute fine art where you're surrounded by people who are very good at what they do. And they are doing this because they're telling you that this is going to buy you a certain amount of time. And in that they are correct. And everybody's jovial and happy and smiling because, you know, every time you let the stuff go into your veins, initially you're buying years at a time. But as time goes by, and you get the echo coming round and round again, well, the amount of time changes. And eventually you run out. And that's small cell lung cancer. It's a wonderful fucking thing. If you're going to pick a cancer to get, that's probably the one because it's going to do you quickest. I'm not fucking about with this thing. It's one of the worst. The only one that's quicker than small cell lung cancer is pancreatic cancer. Both of the same family, both spread. They call it metastasis. Very difficult to get your head around. And here's the thing. It's taken me a month of serious looking on the internet and looking for whatever possible backdoor, exit path, some way of getting out from under this weight I've been looking at. In the past I've always managed to do that. Find the quick back door and oops, I'm out, I'm gone. But with this stuff, there's no back door. There's risk. But yesterday, for the first time, I managed to meet a whole lot of people. Some of them in South Africa, some of them in America. 3 of which actually have same disease as me. 1 of which has metastasized to his femur, just like it did with me. And all of these people are like 6-7 years into survival. It's way beyond what oncologists give you. And they all claim it's because of the same reason. They have a protocol which they all live by. And this protocol uses various things. Some of it's vitamins, some of it's actual medicines, and they've structured this into kind of almost a program, as it were, which over time they've worked out that this takes the time between the relapses and extends it by a lot, from what I can see. But it does require a certain amount of conviction, and it requires that you actually, this has to become a way of life. It's not really about diet, it's about structured swallowing of various things. Right down to if you're going to swallow this thing, you have to have fatty food with it. If you try and eat it with cereal, it just goes straight through. It never does its job inside your body. But these people are highly intelligent, and they have researched this over years. So I've been given the protocols now, and I'm starting to collect the stuff that I need. I've got another 2 more chemos to go before we can hope for the first remission. They say in all likelihood I won't get the first remission at 3 months. It'll probably be more like 6. But at least at 3 months I can do another scan and figure out, what's getting worse, what isn't. But I have to complete the first 3 months before they can even try and fix my femur. So if they can't fix my femur, then I'm going to be on crutches, wheelchair, whatever, from now till the day I die. But there are ways that, if I can get the protocol right, get the cancer into remission, get out of chemo, get out of being at risk of infection, which the chemo burns up. It takes your immune system and kills it. Then I can look at actually getting my leg repaired. And getting my leg repaired would be a big thing, because I can't see myself on crutches for the next however many years. I think it'll be a problem for me. But I'm going to have to deal with it for 3 months at least, until my first scan. But what I am doing is I'm starting to collect the protocol components, and some of them are life-changing, some of them are fairly simple changes, like a particular type of vitamin C, and you take this much every day, and you have to take it at a particular time, and then again at another particular time. And the whole process of this is to make it harder for the cancer to re-establish quickly. So sugar's a no-no. In some cases, these guys add medicines like, metformin and statins and various other things, which seem to have an effect on the cancer, which slows it down. Because of my heart, I'm already on statins, so yay. I'm not on metformin because my sugar's good, but these guys go on metformin even if their sugar is good. Apparently metformin helps them. There's a couple of other drugs which are sort of choose as needed kind of things. A couple of changes to your diet, most important one being sugar. So apparently sugar's right out. Right out. But after talking to these people and finding out from them what they had to go through and what they've eventually figured out from themselves and the people before them, you can get a lot more than 2 to 5 years, according to these guys. You can string this out over 10 or 15 if you've got the willpower to do it. So my attitude is slowly improving, that I can actually beat this thing and actually make something of it, a survival of the actual event, which I have decided to do. But like I say, this is a huge change to what I do every day. And I need to get to the point where I'm off the drugs. These drugs are terrible. I mean, my back is, at the moment, just a blister. One big blister. That's due to the antibiotics they're feeding into me. There's much I can do about it, apparently, except add cream. So my body's reacting with that. There's an anti-inflammatory, which I'm not so sure it anti-inflames anything, but it fucks your head up. You can't think. So as quick as I can, I need to dump these additional medications that they've given me because of the setbacks I've had. I need to get rid of those because I can't work if I've got this stuff floating around in my head. I can't think. The bosses at Rise are going to lose their temper sooner or later, but I physically can't think. So there are times, usually later on in the evening, when the stuff is starting to wear off. Okay, now I'm recording this later on, it's 6 o'clock. Because I can think and I can hold a conversation and I can do all these things. But in the mornings, I'm fairly useless on these drugs. They don't work very well. They might be doing what they're supposed to be doing, but I can't function with them. So I need to get my head around that a little bit and figure out how I'm going to get off these things. And the other thing is I've got to deal with certain realities, if I can't get my femur fixed, I mean, I can't work on cars anymore. I can drive, but I mean, I'll never be able to build another motor car. I don't think my body could tolerate racing, so it would have to be just a different way of life. That's another thing that's difficult. How do you do that? I mean, since I was 16, I mean, every spare moment I've been in a workshop making something. If I'm not working, I'm in the workshop, making something, making a car, making something. If I can't get my leg fixed, then I probably won't be able to finish fixing the 31 on my own. I'm going to have to get somebody to help me. Today I made my first lunch. And making lunch is not so bad. I went up to the kitchen, I made all my lunch, fried eggs on toast, and then I stood there and looked at it. Because there's no way on this earth I can carry it. Not on crutches. So now what do I do? Well, I had to go and bug my son to bring me my lunch. So I can cook it. Just can't move around with it. Same problem with coffee. I mean, I used to burn through coffee. How the hell do you make coffee and carry it when you're on crutches? Anyway, that's being addressed slowly because I'm thinking of ways of going around that. So, thinking of a baby fridge in my office. I can put a little milk kettle on the top, make my coffee. It's right here where I drink it, so it shouldn't be a major train smash. Getting around the bed, going to the loo at night, that's taking some interesting antics, learning how to navigate in the dark with crutches. So we're going to have to change a few things around the house, moving things around so that they're not in the way. But we'll address that when Normie comes home. Should be home in, 10 days or so. But she'll be home in good order. And that's one of the most important things for me at the moment. I think that's all I got. I'll post it on the web.